Good afternoon, friends. Wishing each one of you happy CA Day, happy GST Day, and happy Doctor's Day. This video I'm capturing on waiver of late fees. As you'd be knowing that in terms of notification number 52/2020, there was complete waiver of late fees for large taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore in a preceding financial year. For the month of February, March and April, if they file their GSTR-3B of February, March and April by 24th June. And even for small taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is less than 5 crore in a preceding financial year, these states are being divided into two categories and different specified dates are being prescribed for filing GSTR-3B for the month February, March, April, May, June and July. If GSTR-3B of these months are being filed by the specified date in terms of 52/2020, then complete waiver of late fees. In case you file your GSTR-3B after the specified date. So I can take one example for your understanding. Let's say I'm a large taxpayer and I have to file my March 2020 GSTR-3B, and for that specified date was 24th June 2020. But original due date for filing 3B of March is 20th April 2020. So in terms of 52/2020, complete waiver of late fees if GSTR-3B for March is filed by 24th June. If you file on 27 June 2020, then the implication was, and it was clarified in a circular 141 dated 24th June 2020, that then late fee is going to be levied, and that is going to be levied from that original due date. So 20th April 2020 onward till the date of filing GSTR-3B. So now this new notification which has come 57/2020 dated 30th June 2020. Now what this notification is saying, it is amending principal notification 76/2018 dated 31st December 2018 pertaining to waiver of late fees. Now it is saying that if you file your GSTR-3B after that specified date, 24th June in the example which I am discussing, but by 30th September 2020, then there would be capping of late fees of 500 rupees per return. So only condition, you must file your GSTR-3B by 30th September. Then there would be capping of late fees which is 500 rupees. Looks laudable one, and similar kind of provision applicable for small taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is up to 5 crore in a preceding financial year. If they don't file by specified date in terms of 52/2020, but by 30th September 2020, then there would be late fees capping 500 rupees per return, including CGST and SGST both together. And wherever you're having nil tax liability, either for large taxpayer or for the small taxpayer, late fees would be nil. Late fees would be nil. And there was another category which you must be knowing, defaulter in filing 3B for the period July 17 to January 2020. That if they are having nil tax liability, then late fees would be nil. If you are having tax liability, then late fees is being capped 500 rupees per return inclusive of CGST and SGST. So this is the change. Looks like very good. But look at three practical problem and for which clarification must be given by the government. The first one, that for the period July 17 to January 2020, there's a waiver and reduction of late fees for the defaulting filer of GSTR-3B. Still, the honest taxpayer are waiting. What happened to their late fees which they have paid for delayed filing of GSTR-3B? They all are looking for that whatever late fees they have paid, it must be refunded back. This is what honest taxpayer would be looking at. They want that honest taxpayer must be rewarded, but nothing is being stated. Second point, this 57/2020 which has come on 30th June, it is applicable from 25th of June 2020. And look at what is the meaning thereof. If you have filed your GSTR-3B, assume a situation, and you're a large taxpayer for the month of March 2020 on 27 June, then by all implication, you have paid late fees calculated from 20th April 2020 onwards till 27 June 2020. Now, as per this 57/2020, it is being capped at 500 rupees per return because this notification is effective from 25th of June 2020. So what happened if they have paid excess late fees? Whether this is going to be refunded? Something should have been worded and sounded even by way of circular. As per me, that need to be refunded back and you must file your refund claim. Third and foremost, since I'm recording this video on GST Day, 1st July, we all are looking for GST should be good and simple tax. But irony is that GST is not getting good and simple for simple reason that the way changes are being made in GST, it is not giving stability in the mind of taxpayer. This 52/2020 issued on 24th June, right? And circular 141 dated 24th June 2020 got issued and clarified how the late fees going to be levied and calculated. Now after 5-6 days, though this notification 57/2020 is a good one, but applicable retrospectively from 25th of June 2020. And its implication, 500 rupees capping per return wherever you are having tax liability, and wherever you are having nil tax liability, there is a complete waiver of late fees. Only condition, you must file your GSTR-3B by 30th September 2020. So why within 5-6 days these changes, and that too with retrospective date? It's good for taxpayer, no denial, but at the same time there are other category who is also looking for clarification as a reward to the honest taxpayer. Refund the late fees those who have paid for the period July 17 to January 2020. Now this waiver of late fees is being given to such defaulter. If you're having nil tax liability, then no late fees. And if you're having tax liability, then there is capping of 500 rupees per return for filing 3B of July 17 to January 20 by 30th September. So those honest taxpayers who have paid the late fees, it must be refunded back. That will give the impression of parity and reward to the honest taxpayer. And second, it's a 3-year journey of GST. We all are trying to see GST should be good and simple tax. There has to be some kind of synergy. Policies change it, and corresponding notification and circular issued in the same direction. In a piecemeal manner, if these changes comes in and made effective changes, sometime laudable, which is for 57/2020, but again create another problem, which I discussed for the March 2020 GSTR-3B. If you don't file by 24th June, then implication as per 52/2020 was different, but now 57 saying capping of 500 rupees inclusive of CGST, SGST both together. And if he has filed on 27 June, he must have paid excess late fees, which must be refunded back. A circular must be issued in this regard so that they should get clarity of the changes made effectively from 25th of June 2020. And now my final submission, that yes, we all are working on GST. GST is the biggest indirect tax reform in the country. Being GST day, I do understand that we are having teething problem. And both taxpayer and tax department has to come forward and make sure this GST going to be success for the country. And that's what we all are looking for. But we all are looking the kind of synergy, the kind of connectivity, and the kind of issuance of notification and circular in a direction which will make GST good and simple tax. Wishing each one of you and wishing GST a great success for the country. India, nation first. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.